Hey, welcome back to What Self-Care Looks Like. This is Brittany Elliott. I am a self-care and mom life management coach. I help working moms create simple, sustainable self-care routines that help them reconnect with themselves and improve their overall wellness. And today we are going to be talking about household tasks. And before I jump into my notes, I just want to break down how household tasks are broken down in my home. So, a little backstory, my husband and I, we've been married almost 5 years, and we've been together for 7 years, and our daughter is 6. And he is the clean one, and I am the messy one. So, it's definitely been very interesting uh, growth for me. But we do our best to carry the household task load as equally as possible. So I do most of the cooking, but he cooks as well. And especially in the summers, he does a lot of the cooking in the summer. So we kind of tag team that. When it comes to laundry, he washes all the laundry, folds all the laundry, and I put the laundry away. When it comes to the cleaning, he prefers to do most of the cleaning. He does most of the cleaning in the house, but I typically will clean our daughter's room and I clean our guest room, which is like a guest room slash playroom for our daughter. And then we tag team our common areas. And then in our bedroom, it's typically like he takes care of his side and I take care of my side. But again, being that I'm the messy one, most of the mess throughout our home is my mess. And then it's our daughter's mess. And then it's his mess. So we do have an interdependency type of approach to our home and keeping it clean. I know that his standards are much higher than mine as far as the presentation of our home, and just in being in a relationship, we just have to work together on basically just helping each other live, cohesively and having a synergy. And I wanted to start with that because I wanted y'all to know essentially what my setup is. So I'm not going to recommend anything to you, not just on this episode, but at all in any episode. I'm not going to recommend anything that I would not do or that I am not doing. So just keep that in mind. So, household tasks, of course, they aren't self care. So, I don't want you to think that I am implying that managing household tasks is, but I do believe that we can manage household tasks in a way that protects our well being and protects our happiness. So, for example, I like to do laundry while watching a movie or listening to a book or listening to music. So for me, there is a bit of joy that comes with putting away the laundry because I go upstairs. I'm usually by myself. I'm just, able to do whatever it is I want, watch whatever show that I want. And so I've created this whole vibe about putting the laundry away. So normally, without the perk of that time for me, I really detest putting laundry away. I try to do the same things though with cooking and cleaning. So think about what else you can do with that time while you're cleaning, and what way can you pair it with an activity that will impact your social, spiritual, physical, emotional, or intellectual wellness. And this is important because as a working mom, the last thing we want to do is is to like have to come home and cook or clean or do laundry, especially after a super long day. And my daughter really wants to spend time with me in those few hours between getting home and bedtime. So I try not to spend all of that time cleaning if I can help it. So here's how you'll make your household tasks more manageable. You are going to plan or schedule your cleaning days. It sounds lame. I know. I'm sure you already live out of your calendar a lot already, but I am telling you, if you want to avoid cleaning all weekend or looking around on a random Thursday and realizing that this place is a mess, you have to plan your cleaning days in a way that really complements your self-care routine. So, during your morning routine, if you decide to wake up early to work out and set your intentions for the day, you may decide to throw in a load of laundry during that time as well. I sometimes do this myself. And when I say to do a load of laundry, I mean wash, dry, and put in a basket to fold for later. So if you are the type of person who likes to wash, dry, and fold, and that is one full cycle for you, then this approach may make you feel a little uncomfortable, but I challenge you to stretch a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Um, if you rather stick to that cycle, it's probably best to choose 2 weeknights for laundry instead of waiting until the weekend. I actually have a coworker who does laundry every day, and it works very well for her. The point I want to make is we can't be passive with our household tasks. We know they are there, so they need to be part of the plan with everything else that we have in our lives. It has to be scheduled for us to stay consistent. And this doesn't all fall on you. Household tasks are adult tasks and able bodied people tasks, not mommy tasks. So your spouse or partner has to be on board. And the things that your kids can do, it's very important to allow them to do those things. So with our daughter, we started her off at least 3 years ago with getting into the habit of, if she's playing with a toy, she has to put that toy away before she can pull out another one. And so that is the way that we contain the mess. So when she has friends over or cousins over who don't do that, she notices, and I'll hear her say, "Hey, we have to clean that up before we pull something else out." So we can start those habits early on in our children, and don't be afraid to involve them, even in simple things like loading up the dishwasher, even if you're handing them the safe items that they can put in the dishwasher. We can absolutely include our children. I mentioned earlier, I am the messy one, so I have to be more mindful of cleaning up after myself in real time. And my husband definitely calls me out about it when I don't. So I'm not talking about if I make a mess or I ate and I don't clean up after myself. I definitely do that. But I will, like, nail polish. I'll pull nail polish out and get all my, because I do my own like gel nail polish. And so I will pull everything out, and I might not put everything away. I'll put everything back in the box, but then leave it in the living room. And so he's like, this doesn't go here. Put it where it goes. So those are my messy tendencies. And you and your partner or spouse should sit and have a conversation about how you want your house to look and how you will divide the responsibilities to maintain it. And I think it's odd that some women have an expectation that their homes will be spotless even though they have young children. And I'm very vocal about that to these women in real time. And I recommend containing the mess in one area as best as possible. So I mentioned our daughter plays in the guest room, and then she has a few toys up in her bedroom. But we keep the toy tornado contained mostly to the guest room space. And if something happens, someone's coming over, I can just shut that door. Or I can just say, this is where the kids, can play. And it takes a little bit of that pressure to have this higher standard of cleanliness than what fits into my lifestyle. So we focus our energy on keeping the common areas presentable at all times within our time constraints. But to believe your home will always look as pristine as the lobby of a Ritz-Carlton, I believe you are doing yourself a disservice if you are running around with those high standards. So be realistic and be practical. Here are your self care takeaways from this episode. So, one, schedule your household tasks. So, which day is for bathrooms, which day is for bedrooms, which day is for common areas, which days are for the kitchen. Once scheduled, you're going to create an environment that promotes cleanliness. So, a lot of storage for toys and make sure everything has a space where it goes. Like I mentioned before, I know where I'm supposed to put my nail polish stuff away, just put it away immediately. Once you have all that determined, wipes. I highly recommend having a lot of wipes around, like a lot of containers of wipes in different rooms. Like each room should have its own container of wipes. And wipes are really a lifesaver because the thing about when you're creating a habit, any habit, is if you see it, you will do it more. So if you are trying to eat healthier or like eat more apples and you put the apples in the refrigerator, you're less likely to eat them. If you put the apples out on the table, everyone's going to eat them. You're probably going to eat all the apples in like 2 or 3 days. So I apply that same logic to other habits that I'm trying to build. So with cleanliness, if I can consistently just tidy up and do little touch ups, then the deep clean is not so, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's just not so tough. It's just not so challenging to get through. So, keeping disinfectant wipes in every room, keep them out so that you can touch things up. My husband hates that I have cleaning supplies out for easy access, but it's the way I maintain or attempt to maintain the habit of being less messy because I know if I see it, I'm going to use it. And they make like cute little wicker baskets. So it's not like it just has to be sitting out and just out of place, but there are ways that you can store things in plain sight. And I feel like I have to say, while I'm going back and forth about how messy I am, I'm not in any way dirty. Like it's not dirt. It's just messy. You know, if I had it my way in our bedroom, it would have everything on my dresser, like on our dresser. There would be no space probably to sit anything because I would have all the things that I need sitting on my dresser. Or I would have everything out that I need in the bathroom. But instead, it's like after I do my makeup, everything goes back into its little cubby. And then in the bedroom, once I do like put on my deodorant and put on my lotion, we have a little basket that everything goes back into so that there's more uh, space on flat surfaces. Now, if I were to turn and show you what my desk looks like right now, you would see what I mean by being messy. I cleaned up basically everything that's in the view of the camera is pretty much organized and looks good, but everything on the outskirts is basically um, just like looks a little disheveled. It probably represents in some way my mind, but I know that about myself. I have always been that way. I think the only time I wasn't that way is when I lived by myself in a 2 bedroom, 2 bath apartment because I could put things in all types of places, but that's just not realistic anymore. So, before I let you go, I did want to mention that I do offer a 30-day self care challenge. I've curated 30 days worth of emails that are filled with simple, budget friendly self care activities so that you can protect your well being and happiness for 30 days straight. And the challenge is just $5, and you can access it at back2and5.com/30. 30 days. I have a lot of other offers as well through my website, so make sure you check them out. But this one's just really nice because you don't have to think about it. I'll drop the email in your inbox every day. You choose that activity, you spend 5 to 10 minutes on that activity, and you've checked yourself off the list for that day. As always, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you so much, and I will talk to you so very soon.